Good morning, friends. This side Shruti from PTE Tutorials Authors Group. Let's start our today's webinar. The main topic of today's webinar is the last month, November month's repeated material of PTE-A exam. I tried to jot down maximum questions, but it is really very hard to complete all of them in 1 hour. Or no doubt I'll take more time, but still. And only last thing that I want to say here, you people can get all the questions in our PTE Tutorials app. And if you want to do a lot of practice, download PTE Tutorials app. So let's start. Before that, if you people have any queries, you people can ask your questions in the questions box. After completing the doc, I'll try to answer your questions. So let's start. First, I have covered speaking module. There you have read alouds. That is the very first task of your speaking paper, speaking module. This is really very common these days. Bookkeepers. A national study into fraud by bookkeepers employed at small and medium-sized businesses has uncovered 65 instances of theft in more than 5 years, with more than $31 million stolen. Of the cases identified by the research, 56 involved women and 9 instances involved men. However, male bookkeepers who defrauded their employers stole 3 times on average the amount that women stolen. Now see, when I was speaking this, there were some words which I have to speak at high pitch. For example, a national study into fraud by bookkeepers. I have to speak like this. Bookkeepers employed at small and medium-sized businesses. So this word, then this word, and has uncovered. Uncovered is something which is telling you the meaning of that line. Has uncovered 65 instances of theft in more than 5 years, with more than $31 million stolen. This is really very point to be noted here. Dollar sign is there. We generally, when we write dollar sign, we make it, we put it before the figure. But when we speak it, we never say like with more than $31 million. It is not making any sense. You have to speak this line as with more than $31 million stolen. Dollar should come after the word million. Of the cases identified, again I have to put the stress, by the research, it is not research, it is research, 56 involved, it is not woman, it is women, and 9 instances involved men. However, male bookkeepers who defrauded their employer stole 3 times on average the amount that women stole. Next, read aloud. Fast food. Hundreds of millions of American people eat fast food every day without giving it too much thought, unaware of the subtle and not so subtle ramifications of their purchases. They just grab the tray off the counter, find a table, take a seat, unwrap the paper, and dig in. The whole experience is transitory and soon forgotten. Quite simple one, but see the word where you can skip, where you can fumble. It is ramifications. One more thing I want to add here. See, as in read alouds, we people get the score for reading module also. If we are skipping any S in the words, the last S I'm talking about here, like hundreds of millions, another S was there in ramifications. If we will not speak these S, don't assume that software will give you the score for this word and this word and this word also. And for purchases, S is there. You have to speak. If you are not speaking, it means your pronunciation is wrong for that word. Though purchase you spoke clear, and correct. So be careful. I'm repeating again this one. Hundreds of millions of American people eat fast food every day without giving it too much thought, unaware of the subtle and not so subtle ramifications of their purchases. They just grab their tray off the counter, find a table, take a seat, unwrap the paper, and dig in. The whole experience is transitory and soon forgotten. Next, read aloud. It is about plants. Although it hails from a remote region of the western Himalayas, this plant now looks entirely at home on the banks of English rivers. Brought to the UK in 1839, it quickly escaped from Victorian gardens and colonized riverbanks and damp woodlands. Now it is spreading across Europe, New Zealand, Canada, and the US. Very important things to be noted here. I got the country's name. And out of those countries' name, 2 countries are having D before their name. The UK and the US. Remember always, whenever we have one word which starts with vowel, like here, UK. U is the vowel, US, U is the vowel. Then any word which starts with vowel and you see T-H-E before that word, never pronounce that word as the. Then the pronunciation of that T-H-E becomes the, not the. Many of times you people have heard listening people, speaking people, like they are saying sometimes it's the, sometimes it's the. This is the basic difference. The will come with consonants and the will come with vowel words. Speaking again, one more thing I want to add here. Generally, I have seen people speaking New Zealand. It is not New Zealand. Hear it from each and every native. They will speak like New Zealand. Why that A is there? I have to pronounce that sound too. Speaking again, one more. Yes, that is Western Himalayas. You have to pronounce it as Himalayas, not Himalaya. This is Indian accent sound if you pronounce it as Himalaya. It should be Himalayas. Speaking again, as well as reading it again for you people. Although it hails from a remote region of the western Himalayas, this plant now looks entirely at home on the banks of English rivers. Brought to the UK in 1839, it quickly escaped from Victorian gardens and colonized riverbanks and damp woodlands. Now it is spreading across Europe, New Zealand, Canada, and the US. Next, legal writing. Legal writing is usually less discursive than writing in other humanities subjects, and precision is more important than variety. Sentence structure should not be too complex. It is usually unnecessary to make extensive use of adjectives or adverbs, and consistency of terms is often required. Now, there are many words which you have to take care here. Generally, we speak those words wrong. What are those words are? First word is this one. It is not usually, or should be pronounced as usually. This is that j, not y. It is j. Like we have a measure, pleasure, genre. When you pronounce that j, your mouth should come, your lips should come closer, and they will make the shape of O around a little bit. Plus, your tongue should touch the lower teeth. Usually less discursive than writing in other humanities subjects, and precision Again, that same y in precision. It is not precision, it is yen, not yen. Is more important than variety. You have to pronounce that sound. It is not variety. Variety. A should be there, not E should be there. Whenever E in 70% of English language words, when the letter is E, its sound is A, not A, not E. 70% words. Then variety. See, when I speak the word now, variety, my mouth should open clearly. Otherwise, if I speak this word like this, variety, I'm not opening mouth more. But when I speak it with the correct pronunciation, that is more important than variety. Only then that sound will come and software will give me the score. Next word, sentence structure should not be too complex. You have to stretch the word there, stretch the sound, because it is not only too, it is too complex. It is usually, again I got the same word, it is usually unnecessary to make extensive use of another very important word here. I have, this is not adjective. This is adjective. Whenever in English, D and J, you see these two letters together, the sound becomes not DJ, the sound becomes J. J, only J. Because of the presence of E, I spoke J. Adjectives. Adjectives are adverbs, and consistency of terms is next word. Many of you have heard people saying this word as, some say often, some say often. Often is correct, but often is wrong. You should not pronounce it as often only. Because of the presence of that E, I have to speak the sound of the letter E. It should be often. F and T are making the sound full, but why I'm not taking the sound of that E? Often required. It should not be often, not fun. We usually pronounce this word 10 when we check, when we speak that A there, why not here? 10, and it should be often. Speaking again, legal writing is usually less discursive than writing in other humanities subjects, and precision is more important than variety. Sentence structure should not be too complex. It is usually unnecessary to make extensive use of adjectives or adverbs, and consistency of terms is often required. Next, we have repeat sentences. Most of the people, they have the phobia from repeat sentences. See, there are some basic strategies that you have to follow. If we get longer sentences and you are aiming for 79 plus, I'm not saying that try to speak all the words. Because when you try to speak, try to chase all the content in your sentence, in repeat sentences, what happens? Because when you are listening to the audio, your main focus is only to catch the content. And because of that thing, what happens? You forget the words because you are chasing, you are running after the words. Don't run after the words. Try to understand what the speaker is saying to you. And there is one very good, I would say, strategy. I always used to, when I was practicing for PTE, I used to do my repeat sentences as the author, not the author, the speaker is giving me one command to do so, or they are asking me in question. Whenever we try to listen with understanding, automatically your mouth will speak the words. Automatically. This is psychological process actually. No one can speak the same words and same flow after 1 second. It is hard to capture, but when you will try to understand what the speaker is saying, definitely you will capture 90 to 100% words. And one more important, usually it is said that you have to follow that tone. Basically, the reason you have to mimic the tone. Basically, the reason behind that thing is only and only when you will mimic the tone, you will understand. Simple. And in your PTE exam, in repeat sentences as well as in write from dictation, the speaker can never speak in flat tone like this. I'm trying to speak. Does the government in your country help families that need help? Never ever. They always follow the tone. They always put the stress on the words where they have to put. They always speak in a manner so that you could get whether the sentence was, in the end, it was having full stop, it was having question mark, or something else. Or in between, commas are there, because whenever comma will be there, definitely they will take a microsecond pause. So please be careful when you do these kind of things. The first repeat sentences. Does the government in your country help families that need help? Now see, when I spoke help, after that I took a pause. And definitely that speaker, that audio will also take that pause. No one can speak in this manner. Does the government in your country help families that need help? In this way, we people cannot capture. Only and only way is to capture the words when you try to understand. And understanding will only be there when you try to mimic the tone, when you understand what the speaker said. For example, if I take, usually I speak this word in my classes, go to that room, bring my laptop and keep it here. So many words are there in this particular sentence. But when you will take this word as a command that you have to do that, you have to answer it, definitely you will produce more and more words. Does the government in your country help families that need help? Does was there, definitely you have to produce your sentence in such a way that it should look like a question mark in the end. Next, will those happy days ever be forgotten by you? Again, question mark. Next, junk food's popularity relies on marketing. Next one, conservation is the survival of future generation. 90% people speak this word. We speak it as generation. Why generation? This is the mother tongue influence. We don't speak the presence of this E there. It is generation. Generation, not generation. Sometimes what happens, though we are very good in English, our scores from 10th standard till graduation, post-graduation, we were getting very good scores in English. And we have that myth that we speak clear words and correct words too. If I speak this word as generation, 100% sure software will not pick this word. But from your side, you are speaking the word correct, but software will not take it as, because it is not generation, it is generation. What happens when you listen to the natives? They speak in so much flow, it becomes very hard to capture whether it was an or n. then you must have to try to work on your schwa sounds. SCHWA, schwa sounds. It will help you how and when and where you have to produce R, A, E, O sounds in between the word. Coming to the next, my biggest concern for the future is climate change. Definitely, when the speaker will speak the word biggest, he or she has to put the stress on that word because this is the biggest one. And whenever we speak the word biggest, definitely because of the presence of double G there, we have to put the stress on that G. So we will speak it like, my biggest concern for the future is climate change. Next one. Words can't express how sad we are to hear your loss. At this point, speaker will take that feel of sad in his or her speech. Like, words can't express how sad we are to hear your loss. Next one. May the love of those around you help you through the days ahead. May the love of those, speaker cannot speak these words in like, may the love of those around you. When we will take the words as those around you, it will not make you to understand the line. May the love of those around you help you through the days ahead. And this way, you will capture, you will understand the words. Next. His tone tonight was nothing short of jealousy. His tone tonight was nothing short of jealousy. At the place of nothing when he or she should be speaking, definitely a microsecond pause should be there so that you people can understand it. Our young people need education and more organized activities. And the word is more organized. I have to stress the sound, stretch the sounds. Like, our young people need education and more organized activities. Try today, after this lecture, when you are free, repeat sentences in this way. I'm damn sure you people will be able to catch maximum words. Don't ever rush over, run over, chasing the words only. Try to chase the understanding what the speaker was saying. Next, Alex captured her hands and forced her to drop the potatoes. One more thing that I want to add here. Alex captured her hands and forced her to drop the potatoes. Forced is, it is second form of verb. Second form of verb, and in the end, the word letter is ed. Though we all see ed, that's why from our own side we try to produce the sound of d. But actually, in regular verbs, this is the regular verb. Regular verbs are those verbs which are having ed in the end, like asked, fixed, suggested. But out of those regular verbs, there are particularly some sounds like surder, xerder, sir and curserder, xerder. With those cursor, sir, ter, we cannot produce D sound naturally. Because though I'm able to see that D there, but still the sound should be T, a little bit T sound. I'm speaking D is there, but we should not produce the sound of D, we should produce the sound of T. T. Forced her to drop the potatoes. Asked, T is there. dropped, t is there. But in suggested, that t and the, there I have to produce the sound did, not tud, or not tut. So on Google you can get this thing easily. Just check the pronunciation of regular verbs. You will able to see the difference clearly. Next is, no crop responds more readily to care for husbandry and skillful cultivation. Next one, the facts you have gone out with such infinite trouble were in failure to pinch. Many of you speak this word as infinite. This is not infinite. This is infinite. The facts you have gone out with such infinite trouble were in failure to pinch. Next. She glanced nervously around the brush and back at him. I look for the day when 1 billion planets are populated with 1 billion people each. Now this particular sentence is quite a longer one. How to remember such words, such longer sentences? Whenever you have a longer sentence, definitely that particular sentence would be using less difficult words. I'm damn sure. Why so? So that you could produce maximum to maximum words and it becomes easy for you to capture the words. See, in this line, no word is difficult. I look for the day when 1 billion planets are populated with 1 billion people each. Now just speak in your mouth. Close your eyes for once. I'm speaking. Try to speak in your mouth after me. I look for the day when 1 billion planets are populated with 1 billion people each. Just tell me, how many of you were able to produce maximum words? You can write it in questions box. Were you able to produce maximum words? So never ever rush to chase the words only. And just tell me how many words are there in this particular sentence. I look for the day when 1 billion planets are populated with 1 billion people each. Coming to the next, we have very less time. Everyone wanted to meet the artist. Don't speak the artist, okay? Everyone wanted to meet the artist and discussed the work they were interested in. It is also easy and don't have many words. Everyone wanted to meet the artist and discussed the work they were interested in. Next, you're the best advertising executive this company has ever had. You have to produce these words as you're, not you are, because of the presence of that apostrophe. You're the best advertising executive or executive, both are correct, this company has ever had. Various measures, not measure, not measures, please correct it. Various measures were proposed which would not have aggravated the situation. Various measures were proposed which would not have aggravated the situation. Moving up the class ladder also brings unexpected costs. I didn't mean to eavesdrop on your conversation. Didn't is there? Please speak the word didn't. I look in my closet for something to wear. This is just the same as I said. Go to that room, bring my laptop and keep it here. I look in my closet for something to wear, but I couldn't find anything appropriate for the occasion. How you people cannot speak these many words? Just tell me. We can. It is just a myth because we always try to chase the words. We don't understand the words. We don't understand the line what the speaker is saying. And it is just a simple word as if we are talking to someone. I look in my closet for something to wear, but I couldn't find anything appropriate for the occasion. Next we have describe images. Many of you people, basically the people who are very new to PTE, they feel that describe images is one of the biggest things in PTE. But see, describe image is one of the easiest thing in PTE. You can speak anything for half of the bar and just press next, because this particular task is having only and only your speaking score. No module, other module score is intervened here. So speak whatever you can speak. This image is very popular these days. Sample responses. The given image represents the time spent by adults for mobile, laptop, and other gadgets in the USA from the year 2008 to 2015. It is quite clear from the image that the year 2008, in the year 2008, time spent by adults for laptop was more than 75%, and it was minimum in the year 2015, which was almost 50%. On the other hand, if I see the time spent by adults in using their mobiles, it was minimum in the year 2008 and was maximum in the year 2015, which was approximately equal to 50%. Overall, it can be said that as the time passed, laptops were replaced by mobiles. I concluded like this. And this is a figure which we can conclude from the given image. Again, I spoke this word past. It should be the. No, it should be only the. With sir and the. We are naturally, our mouth cannot produce the sound of sir. Natural will be only if I speak like past. The sound. Speak it. Because of the presence of the D, we assume that I have to speak that the sound, but actually it is not there. Next image. It becomes very difficult if you are going to speak entirely as per whatever you can see in the image. In this particular image, no title is there, nothing is there. See, in that case, but if you have seen this particular image before sitting in the exam, it becomes easy for you to frame your sentences. How can we imagine what this figure is telling me? Only I can see this: 49% of all road traffic deaths are among pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcycles. And after that, they have made this. Now just count it. 22, 4, 23. This is 49. Means they are telling you 49%, which is the sum of these three. Out of these 49%, 22% were pedestrian, 4% cyclist, and 23% were motorcycles. So in this way, they have taken the percentage of deaths on road in out of the whole world. And here is the sample response. You people can get these sample responses in PTE Tutorials app. After that, after the lecture, if you want to go for. Next is The given image represents the road traffic fatalities. How I got this word? This word is written here. Road traffic fatalities per 100,000 population. The given image represents the road traffic fatalities per 100,000 people over the world. It is quite clear from the image that 49% of all road traffic deaths are among pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcycles, out of which 4% deaths are occurred among cyclists, 23% among motorcyclists, and 22% among pedestrians. Also, it is crystal clear from the image that total deaths occurred in America and Africa are 15.9% and 26.6% respectively. In conclusion, it can be said that Europe is considered as the safest continent amongst all, as it has the least death rate. See this? Europe had 9.3. It means this is the safest amongst all. That's why I concluded like this. But it is not necessary that always you have to produce the conclusion. Software is not waiting for Shruti that when she or he will be speaking the word conclusion or any synonym of that word, we will give her the score. Otherwise, software will not give me the good score. This is just the myths. Whosoever is saying conclusion is very important. Why conclusion is important? Software has not in its list, no answer is there. 100 people can produce 100 described images in 100 ways. How the software will produce his or her its own answers? No, not at all. Next is global warming predictions. This particular image goes with this scale. Yellow region, less temperature. As you see, the darker color, temperature is increasing. The given map represents the global warming predictions from 2070 to next century. Based on the predictions given by HAD CM3 scale, the temperature will be increasing. In the given map, some highly influenced regions of the world are highlighted. It can be clearly seen that South America and North Hemispherical regions will be approximately 5 to 8 degrees Celsius warmer than today. Overall, it can be said that human activities are solely responsible for the increase in global temperature. I concluded in this way. It's up to you how many words or what kind of line you are able to produce in your lecture. Next one, very important. Many of you, if they are from the field of science, non-medical field, definitely in mathematics or in physics, we people had seen these kind of graphs in probability, especially optimal levels, normal distribution graphs right there. It is basically based on that one. The given image represents a normal distribution graph which provides the comparison between the arousal levels and performance quality. You can see, whenever you have a graph and without any topic, without any heading, just speak like this, it is showing the comparison between this and this symbol. No need to explain it more, that try to make, okay, what they have given to us, what I have to speak, title is not there, heading is not there, how to speak, what to speak. Just speak like this. It is showing the comparison between x-axis and y-axis. If x-axis is having nothing, speak like this, x-axis and y-axis. It is quite clear from the image that at optimal level, this was the optimal level, quality of performance, here is the quality of performance, increases for both difficult as well as easy tasks. Furthermore, I can elaborate that at apathy level, performance quality is low. Also, it can be observed that high anxiety level here, performance again decreases. See, it decreased for both the types of tasks. I can elaborate that at apathy level. This is the apathy or boredom level. Performance quality is low. See, This is the performance quality. It is low here. Also, in high anxiety level, performance quality is low. Just tell me, isn't it the truth of our life? Whenever we people are highly anxious or we are feeling bored, then our performance, it slows down. Simple. Next, trading goods. This is the most easiest describe and mention, though it appears very difficult. Now see, this is about ancient Egypt. Egypt imports and exports. Exports means from ancient Egypt, what kind of things were there, which it was sending to other countries. These were the number of items, and these were the number of items which were coming into the ancient Egypt, and these items were coming from here, these were from here, Africa, these from Nubia, and these from Lebanon. In this way you have to make your sentences. The given image represents the trading of goods, which includes import and export from ancient Egypt. It is quite clear from the given image that there were many types of things which were imported from other countries to Egypt, like cedar oil, gold, stones, pots, copper metal, ebony, ivory, salves, it should be salves, exotic animals, and some other eatables like fruit and honey. On the other hand side, I can also clearly observe that linen, tools, beads, beer, weapons, and oil were exported from Egypt to other countries of the world. Next, very new and repeated one. The given image represents a multicolored picture showing a taxonomy chart. In biological classification, taxonomic rank is the relative level of a group of organisms in a taxonomic hierarchy. It is further quite clear from the image that there has been different ranks like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and these give the description of life. Overall, I can say that the hierarchy of biological classifications, 7 major taxonomic ranks are displayed in the given image. In this particular image, I didn't get anything to conclude. So what I did, I just rephrased my first line and made it my conclusion. Simple. Very important one. How viruses are getting multiplied. This is the picture. They have named the stages and how we have to produce our sentences. The given image represents that how viruses get multiplied. The first stage is called adsorption, in which the virus gets attached to the body. Then next stage is called entry, in which it gets entered into the body and start infecting it. Furthermore, replication has started, and then comes the stage where the multiple viruses assemble inside the body. And in the last stage, after fully infecting the body, viruses come out from the body, which is called the release stage. Next, new one and a bit difficult one, because here you don't have much to speak from the image. Inner core, outer core, mental trust, 800 miles, 1400 miles, 1000, 400. Never speak in Indian number system. You have to speak 1400 miles, not 1400, not 1800, 1800 should be there. The picture gives us the information about the core. See, this is the core. How I got to know? Inner core, outer core. That's why. According to the picture, I can see from the inside to the outside, there is an inner core, which is 800 miles, that is 1,300 kilometers. Following that, it's the outer core, which is 1,400 miles, that is 22,250 kilometers. And then it's the mantle, which is 1,800 miles, that is 2,900 kilometers. The most outside one is the crust, which is 5 to 25 miles, that is 8 to 40 kilometers. In conclusion, the core has a very complex structure. Now, very important. Generally, we exclude the part of practice of answer short questions. We feel that, okay, we will see in the exam because we can produce anything in our answer. Yes, you can produce anything, you can speak anything in your answer if you don't know the question, what was it and what is its exact answer. But remember one thing, it will decrease your 3 scores. What those 3 scores are? One is listening, because if it will be correct only, then you will get the listening score. After that, when it is clear and you are getting the score for listening, software gives you the score for vocabulary. And when vocabulary score is there, just tell me, vocabulary is the part of which module? Speaking, reading, writing, or listening? Vocabulary is the part of your writing paper. It means if there were 12 answer short questions, but you didn't speak the answer for each and every one, I'm saying, suppose you are blank, and this happens because sometimes we don't understand what the speaker was saying. In that case, suppose out of those 12, you could able to speak only say 3 or 4. Rest you produced anything from your side. Just tell me, in that case, how many scores you will get minus? How many scores will be there? 8 to 9 scores. If you are producing 3 answers correct and 12 questions were there, 9 answers you spoke wrong. And because of that minus 9, 3-4 score definitely will be there, some percentile will be there out of those 9 scores which will go to your vocabulary, and after that some percentile will also be there which will go to your writing. When we get stuck at 78 in writing now, then we understand what I skipped. That is not the hard luck, that is the bad practice that you have chosen. Stucking at 78 because we assume that answer short questions, MCQs, highlight incorrect words, these things are not so important, so let's not practice it. No, you should practice it. I always say this thing to my students. When your target is 79 plus, always remember this thing. Your target is not 79. Your target is 100%. Only then you will reach 79. So be careful. So I would say practice as many questions as you can. Next question is, what is the force happened between the relative motion when objects are rubbed against each other? Answer is friction. What is the opposite of still? You can speak any word, software will give you the score. Moving, active, dynamic. What are the books that you cannot borrow from library? Reserved books. There are some books like journals, some magazines, you cannot borrow them. Which object can be put into a handbag, a bicycle, or a book? Of course, a book. What attitude would you have when you are in a job interview? Enthusiastic or passive? Of course, enthusiastic. When you get lost in the city, what item do you need to buy to find out where you are and where to go? Map. The name of the building where you can borrow books, library. What is the opposite of convex? It is concave. Which one has more academic articles, magazines or journals? Word is academic, definitely it should be journals. Which of the following is not a means of transportation? By plane, by public transportation, or by a car model? Answer is car model. What is the thing that has iron inside and can attract iron? That is magnet. What will snow become after it melts? water. What is the second month of the year? February. What kind of transportation runs on the railway? Train. What kind of forms are tragedy and comedy? Literature. Though we all are aware about its answer, but at the time it becomes hard to speak the correct answer if I haven't read this line before. So always go through with the repeated material also. What do we call the firm paragraph of a report? Can we produce the answer for this one? We cannot. Answer is introduction. One more thing. Sometimes we just practice answer short questions or write from dictation or repeat sentences only from the PDFs. We try to mug up the things. Okay, he or she will speak like this and this, then my answer is this. In the case of answer short questions, my request is, okay, fine, if you are practicing from any PDF, you are not listening to the audios, just take one highlighter and highlight some words so that when the speaker in your real exam will speak those words, you are not able to capture the whole sentence, what he or she is speaking. Firm paragraph of a report. Only these words are there. Speak the word introduction. Highlight the main words. It will help you to produce your answer immediately, because in repeat sentences, as the audio finishes, you have to produce the sound immediately. Not the sound, the word. Next, reorder paragraphs. Very typical ones, and it becomes difficult for you people sometimes to answer them. Now check. This is the paragraph. I'm giving you people 30 seconds. Okay, 40 seconds. Just give me your answers in the question and answer box. Any one of you? Always try to find the opening sentence first, and after that try to make the pairs. Stephen Stanley, chief economist at RBS Greenwich Capital. Okay, I can see that this can be my opening sentence. Americans bought far fewer new homes last month. Can this be my opening sentence? No. After that, however, I cannot start my opening sentence with however. Houses, the biggest drop, means something was told before that. House prices also eased. Also is there. I cannot take this as the pace of sales fell too. So my confusion is there between A and B. Just tell me which will be the correct, which will be the first sentence. Anyone? Sorry. Anyone? I'll answer your questions, whatever your queries have, at the end after completing the doc. Already it is too lengthy. Just tell me which is your first sentence. Stephen Stanley or Americans bought far fewer new homes last month. According to government data released on Wednesday that showed sales fell at the fastest rate in 13 years. No one is replying, or I'm not getting your answers. What's the thing? Wait a sec. From Reorder Paragraphs, Stephen Stanley, we generally feel that Stephen, we are taking the name and these are the words said by some person. So cannot take, we will think that these can be the first, my opening sentence. But see the word Americans, definitely Americans. First I am Indian, after that I am Shruti. So Americans bought, then definitely this sentence will come. But it doesn't mean that after this line I'm writing this one. So Americans bought far fewer new homes last month according to government data released on Wednesday that showed sales fell at the fastest rate in 13 years. Then we have house prices also eased as the median cost of a new home fell 2.1% from a year ago to $239,800. Then we have, they're talking about the sales, new home fell 2.1%. What was that? From this rate to drop at the rate of this, how they dropped. Next, I have this D, the biggest drop. These were the drops, but out of those, the biggest was this one. Then I have A. Stephen Stanley, he said that to work off blotted stocks of finished homes for most of 2007. See, this is basically the reason they are telling us. And after that, I'm left with the sentence, however. Before however, I need a solid reason why that however was there. Because whenever we use the word however, it means in the previous line, something had happened. That's why I am contradicting that particular line. So we'll choose next C. Answer is B, E, F, D, A, C. Let me tell you one thing, as this is the repeated one question. Remember one thing, sometimes you can get the same paragraphs in your exam, but they may alter their paragraphs, sentences. It is not necessary, first sentence will always be Stephen Stanley. So always try to make the pairs not like, don't cram the answers. And this particular paragraph is taken from one article, and in that article, one line was added, but in the exam, chances will be there that that particular line may be cut off. Because I have seen this paragraph in different sites, and sometimes they were having 5 sentences, and in some websites they were having 6 sentences. So I have taken all the 6 sentences so that clarity should be there. Next, I cannot start my sentence with ultimately, even, or structure built with this system. Which system? I have to define that. So taking first as my this, and here it is basic structure. So B should be the first one. After that they were talking about structure, so we'll take structure built with this system. Then even the internal structure, we are talking about here structure and structure, so definitely I'll take this. And ultimately the scientists say this approach could enable the design and construction of new buildings that would not be possible with traditional building methods. Next we have, yes, a typical one we have. We may assume that it is written here, the site list, after that this site. Definitely we will choose the site first, and after that, as the word this site, we will say this site means this one. They're demonstrating to this A. So we will write A and B, but the answer is B and A. Because in Pearson, what it usually does, they take any paragraph from any article. They don't even take the find out the meaning, whether it will be making the sense or not to the reader or not. So what they do, they select any 3-4 lines and they make it as a reorder paragraph. So I would suggest you to go through the deep meaning of that line. This site contains a comprehensive listing of the works of Norbert Elias, a German sociologist. Here they are writing the name of a person. After that, E, the site lists not only, see, listing of the works. Definitely, list should come after that. The site lists not only his published books and articles, but also manuscripts and oral communications in a variety of media, and including reprints and translations. Next, see, the material has been catalogued. As we are talking about books, articles, manuscripts, communications, definitely these are the material which has been catalogued. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to find them where they are placed. Cross-referenced and organized by date. There is, however, no search facility. Otherwise, no search facility will be there. So B, A, C, D. Next one. This is again the typical one and is taken from the article, magazine article. I forgot the website's name actually. Rather, I would mention it. It was a light bulb moment. Why not use the old photos to create a timeline of the morning of the morphing glaciers and add new photos every year? See, we all can assume that this is my first sentence. And number B, we can also think B can be my first sentence. The repeat photography project was born. Over the years, countless photos of the majestic park have been snapped, and many of those have become part of the park's official archive spanning over a century. In 1997, Lisa McCann, a physical scientist with the United States Geological Survey who works in the park, came across a pair of historic photographs depicting the glaciers she studies. Now a lot of confusion is there. Which will be my first sentence? In that case, when you get these kind of paragraphs in your paper, definitely we will choose 90% chances will be there that we will choose incorrect pairs. So who is going to be a big help there? What we people have to do? Okay. Over the years, countless photos of the majestic park have been snapped. I can think that this is my first or number A or number B. But in number D, they are starting with year, just like we start any story. In 2005, this happened, this, in the similar way. In 1997, Lisa McCann, a physical scientist with the United States Geological Survey who works in the park, came across a pair of historic photographs depicting the glaciers she studies. And the same wording, glaciers, morphing glaciers, I read there. So definitely I have to introduce first from where these glaciers come. I have to add that line. So that's why I'm taking D as my first sentence. After that, as they were talking about glaciers, she came across a pair of historic photographs. Over the years, countless photos of the majestic park have been snapped. Now she's describing what was there. And many of those have become part of the park. Park was there, and here again, park is there. So definitely D with C, this is the pair. Then, it was a light bulb moment. As she was checking out those pictures, it was a light bulb moment. Why not use the old photos to create a timeline of the morphing glaciers and add new photos every year? And because of the presence of that thing in our mind, because of that idea, the repeat photography project was born. Actually, B was the end sentence. Next, reading blanks. I have marked the answers in red capital letters. It is not necessary that we have to go through with the whole paragraph. If we have right strategies, appropriate methods, definitely we will mark my answer in less than 30 seconds. In my reading paper, I was left with 11 minutes when I was on the last question. And my score is 84. One thing is certain, most people do not get enough exercise in their, of course, daily routines. With daily goes with the word routines. All of the advances of modern technology, from dash can openers, from electric can openers to power steerings. From this to this, electric can openers. This can is not the helping verb. This is the can opener. Cold drink cans, like electric can openers to power steering. Next, and much less physically demanding. Physically more comfortable and much less physically severe. I cannot physically demand. When we do something physically demanding exercises, some are there. After that, yet our bodies need activities, especially if they are carrying around too much. See, I spoke even too much fat. We never say too many fat or too little. No doubt less can be there, but less doesn't go with the meaning of that line. Next, there are two dash ways. We can never say two odd ways, large ways, substantial ways. We are not talking here about some good level stanza. Only and only simple verbs are there, so definitely we'll have to choose main. There are two main ways. Next, scientists preparing for NASA's proposed Jupiter icy moon's orbiter believe that Jupiter's moon's Europa may be a corrosive mixture of acid and peroxide. Thus, it may not be the ideal place. It may not be the ideal, I cannot say suitable place. We are not, see, when you people do reading writing blanks, I would suggest you try to think that you are the writer. You are the one who has written this paragraph. And in that case, definitely, you people will choose the words which should be there. And see, in this case, the theme of the paragraph is very high. It is purely scientific. We are taking the names of planets and its moons and all. Definitely, I have to select the word which is having a place higher than the other word's place. Like here, thus it may not be the ideal. Suitable cannot be there. Relevant, no. Correct, no. Lucky, no. Ideal place for life to exist. Next, dash all the information. we are talking about here, which has not happened yet. Virtually all the information we have about Europa comes from the spacecraft Galileo, which completed its mission to study Jupiter and its moons close-up before NASA dramatically crashed it into Jupiter in 2003. Next, even jot down this particular thing in your copies. Whenever you have blank in reading writing blanks or anywhere else in reading blanks, reading fill in the blanks, that blank occurs just after the full stop, and you see some connectors there, some conjunctions there, just like here, because, although, despite, whatever, whether. And generally we get confused there, whether it should be although, despite, however, or whatever, because, whatever is there. What thing we have to choose? Never select blindly that word. And that clarity should be there only and only if you people have read and you people have understood the meaning of the last line. Otherwise, it becomes hard to select the correct word. See what my last line is saying. Which completed its mission to study Jupiter and its moons close-up before NASA dramatically crashed it into Jupiter in 2003. Means they have completed their mission and to study. What was the mission? To study Jupiter and its moons close-up before NASA dramatically crashed it. It means that particular spacecraft into Jupiter in 2003. They have got, after completing the mission, their spacecrafts, they got crashed. Dash the general perception of Europa means I was getting one information from that spacecraft. Although the general perception of Europa is of a frozen crust of water ice. Here we said it may not be the ideal place for life to exist as was thought possibly to be the case. And virtually all the information we have about Europa, which completed, now they are just telling you about what was Europa. It completed its mission and after that it got crashed. The main line is here. All the information, although the general perception of Europa is of a frozen crust of water ice harboring a salty subterranean ocean kilometers below. Researchers studying the most recent measurements say light reflected from the moon's icy surface bears the spectral fingerprints of hydrogen peroxide and strong acid. This is a very big line, very lengthy one. Although the general perception, after that, try to match it with all the information. Here only the words I could get, all the information. After that, when we see here comma, researchers studying the most recent measurements say light reflected from the moon's icy surface. Because of this thing, still we have the general perception that there would be a frozen crust of water ice harboring. So they are making their line in between. The connection is there in between that line because of the presence of that comma. They are telling you the reason of the first line, first couple of words in the second line after the comma. Next, the similar situation. Dash they accept as it was, although whatever they have made here till here However, they accept it. They accept that it could just be a thin surface, dusting and might not come from the ocean below. Next one, and would be the last one. The amount of sleep you need depends on many factors, of course, especially your age. With the age, as we get aged, definitely we sleep for less hours, but in adulthood we sleep for more than 10-11 hours. Newborn sleep between 16 and 18. There is no need to read the whole paragraph because you are not having the blank there. As you get older, your sleeping patterns, not sleeping habits. Sleeping is not a habit. Your sleeping patterns change. I cannot say sleeping habit change. Yes, somehow I can say this thing that siestas you people take, they may vary, but here definitely sleeping patterns, and of course I need what my grammar says, change. With change I need a plural word there. That's why I'm going to select sleeping patterns. Cannot select sleeping sometimes change. Another one, getting enough sleep is important to your health because it boosts your, of course, immune. Otherwise, our immunity will be low. Next, also, quality of sleep is just as important. We are talking about your quality. I cannot select any negative word as quantity. Next, he or she may be able to identify the cause. We always identify the cause. This is the collocation. Now I'm going to answer your questions. I hope the lecture was clear. Someone is asking, can you give some tips for essays? Whosoever has asked this question, please subscribe PTE Tutorials YouTube channel. A beautiful webinar is already there. You can see its recording. You can see its video. There are two parts of that essay, how to write a perfect PTE essay. This is the line. Just search it on YouTube even. You will get it. Beautifully, strategies, all the things, each and every part of essay is explained there. I would suggest you to go through with that. And after that, do listen to the next part also. There I have explained the things, how to get 6 man, why we get sometimes less score, and what to write to get good score. No, you don't need to pay for it. It is free. Someone has asked, do we have to produce the articles and answer short questions? I would suggest you don't add articles. There is the basic reason behind that. Now let's check what that reason is. Suppose you get a picture which of the following is the citrus fruit? And the answer was orange. And we all know that orange, O is what? It is a vowel. And because of the presence of vowel, we try to add an orange. But the way we pronounce an orange, generally it is incorrect. We pronounced my answer as an orange. See, in the dictionary, what the software is having, pronunciation dictionary, there is no such word, an orange. If I am pronouncing the word as an orange, only then the software will give me the correct answer, not the correct mark for my answer. +1 for vocabulary, +1 for listening, and of course, +1 for my writing part. As I said, vocabulary is a part of writing. Ma'am, in Retell Lecture, can we use template? You can use template, but don't add maximum words from your template, I would suggest you. Because when you add maximum template, you forget to add maximum keywords. But because of the presence of keywords, you people are getting your listening score. So never get a chance. I'm not saying you should not. Rather, one should always learn one template, because sometimes we are in bad situations in exam when we don't hear, we were not able to capture the maximum words. Then who is going to be a big help? Only the templates. I have problem, Abhishek is saying, I have problems, some models. Abhishek, I couldn't capture your word. I have problems, some models means what? Frame your complete sentence. When is the best time to speak clearly? The mic could understand. See, Joseph, if you will not speak for 3 seconds, even in the starting or in between in your speaking paper, damn sure software mic will be off after 3 seconds. So don't take such pauses, such long pauses. And as you see the word on your screen recording, immediately after the microsecond, as you see the word recording there, you will see one bar there, blue bar will be there. And as you see first bar, start speaking. Otherwise, when you speak at the word, when you see recording, your first 2-3 words will not be captured by the software. In answer short questions, if you give negative answer, means you are not giving the answer for whatever it is the correct one or not. There is no negative marking. Negative marking is only there in 3 sections. You can go through with PTE score guide also. No doubt there will be a webinar in coming days which will tell you the negative marking, and different webinar will be there on different scorings of PTE paper, different tasks. Kindly attend those, you will get your answers. I have read one question in between. Someone was asking, you're pronouncing the 2 times, means one time you are pronouncing the, other time you are pronouncing the. See, as I explained this thing in the lecture itself, pronounce THE the when the next letter is starting with consonant, like with S. The smartphone. And THE, I have to pronounce this word as the when the next word is starting with the letter vowel, like the Americans, the United States, the United Kingdom, in this way. Now I'm going to end the meeting. Thank you for joining the webinar. I hope it was clear to you all. Let's meet on next Saturday, sharp 9 a.m. with some new things. Thank you so much for joining the webinar.